Samuel L. Jackson is easily one of the most iconic actors that Hollywood has spawned throughout the years. It would be hard to find someone who has never seen a movie that didn't have Jackson in it. But what does Metascore say is Jackson's best work? Let's take a closer look at Samuel L. Jackson's best movies. Ranked. Coming in on number 10, Chirac. What do you get if you make a modern-day adaptation of the Greek play Lysistrata? You get Chirac, the 2015 movie directed by Spike Lee, set on the south side of Chicago. The violence has spiraled so far out of control that the women of the neighborhood decide to take action and go on a strike to try and reduce the homicides and shootings that are running rampant among the black male community. Samuel L. Jackson plays the important role of Dolmedes, a fancy-dressed character that's also the narrator of the story. He helps tie together the scenes and explains details about each of the chapters. Chirac managed to earn itself a decent Metascore of 77, but the user score only comes in at a meager 5.4. But bonus points for John Cusack, who played the role of Father Patrick Kelly in this amazing movie. At number 9, we find Eve's Bayou. Eve's Bayou came out in 1997, and it shows, but that doesn't make this movie any less impressive. Not only did Samuel L. Jackson play an important role in Eve's Bayou, but this was also Jackson's first project, where he held an important role behind the scenes. In front of the camera, Jackson stepped into the shoes of Louis Batiste, a doctor in the 1960s, Louisiana, and the father of Eve. Jackson may portray the head of the house, but in this tale, it's the women who rule this gothic world full of secrets, lies, and mystic forces. Jackson's acting style hadn't quite fully developed yet, and the independent movie may not be one of Jackson's better-known projects. It did really well and is definitely a project that Jackson holds very dear himself, which makes it all the nicer that Eve's Bayou has a Metascore of 78. Next up at number 8, Hard 8. Hard 8 was originally titled Sydney after its main protagonist, but is better known under its secondary title. Paul Thomas Anderson directed the movie, which came out in 1996, and had a pretty impressive cast that included Samuel L. Jackson, Gwyneth Paltrow, John C. Reilly, and the late Philip Baker Hall. Hard 8 tells the story of Sydney, who's showing John the ropes in Las Vegas. Jackson portrays Jimmy, who doesn't take long to enter the gambling scene as well. The plot is gripping, and the ratings don't lie either. Hard 8 sits comfortably at number 8 in the list of Samuel L. Jackson's best movies, having gathered a humble Metascore of 78. Following at number 7, we find Jungle Fever. Jungle Fever was directed by Spike Lee and came out in 1991, and follows the story of a successful black man, Flipper Purify, who is portrayed by Wesley Snipes in New York City. Being an architect, he has a lot to lose, but he finds himself contemplating having an affair with his Italian secretary. But it's the reaction from their family and friends that makes them wonder how society would respond, and if they'd accept their desires and racial differences. Samuel L. Jackson plays Flipper's brother, Gator Purify, and many critics believe that this isn't exactly Jackson's finest work, but maybe we should forgive him for any flaws. After all, it was one of his earlier works, not to mention his character's uneasy demise in Jungle Fever. Either way, Jungle Fever still makes it to the list with a Metascore of 78. Do you think it deserves to be here? And next, at 6, we have The Incredibles 2. There were several characters from the first movie included in the latest feature film in the Amazing The Incredibles series, and it may have taken 14 years, but Disney Pixar finally released a sequel that features the leading family and Mr. Incredible's longtime friend, Frozone. Since Samuel L. Jackson was the voice of the superhero in 2004, naturally fans were expecting Jackson to come back and portray Frozone once more. Luckily, they didn't disappoint us, and Frozone did indeed play a more important role in The Incredibles 2, and a bigger chunk of the storyline as well. That's why The Incredibles definitely deserve its spot on the list. Don't you agree? Either way, The Incredibles 2 has a Metascore of 80. Hey there, we're only halfway down the list. Do you want to miss out on all the best projects that Samuel L. Jackson worked on? Coming up, we have 1994's Fresh, some more Quentin Tarantino, The Incredibles, and can you guess what movie has taken the number 1 spot? Keep watching to find out what the best ranked Samuel L. Jackson movie is. And now coming in on 5, Django Unchained. Django Unchained is easily Quentin Tarantino's highest grossing movie ever, and with good reason as well. It was released in 2012 and is set in the ruthless times of 1858, where a freed slave needs to rescue his wife from a brutal plantation owner in Mississippi. Luckily, he gets help from a German bounty hunter to help him free his wife. Samuel L. Jackson plays the role of Stephen, a butler employed by the main antagonist. In this impressive revisionist western, Django Unchained had the luxury of a $100 million budget and is carried by an impressive cast. This movie was made to be a success, so it shouldn't come as a surprise that it's up here with the rest of Jackson's best movies. But do you think Django Unchained maybe should have been higher up? As we speak, Django Unchained holds a beautiful 81 with an even higher user score of 86. Next up, we're moving forward to number 4, Fresh. Fresh came came out back in 1994 and follows the story of a humble young boy named Fresh, who deals drugs on the unforgiving streets of Brooklyn. But being as young as he is doesn't mean he's safe from all the consequences that come with living a life of crime, including some pretty darn dangerous situations involving corruption and violence. Samuel L. Jackson plays Sam, Fresh's alcoholic father, and a speed chess champion who tries to teach his son to implement the logic of chess in life to solve his problems and improve his standing in life. Come to think of it, it's a little weird that Fresh doesn't get more acknowledgement, because it is one of the lesser-known movies that features Jackson. But the scores don't lie. Those who have seen Fresh were thoroughly impressed, which is why Fresh comes in with a very generous Metascore of 81%. Next, we have Kill Bill Volume 2, coming in at number 3. We all know that Samuel L. Jackson is no stranger to Quentin Tarantino's movies, which is why it's no surprise that Jackson got himself a small but a very impressive role in Tarantino's martial arts thriller Kill Bill Volume 2, which came out in 2004. Jackson plays Rufus, the piano player, in the iconic black and white scene. Though the moment is but brief, it's a true stroke of genius. This is where Jackson's talent really shone through, as he was capable of showing his character's kind nature, yet still managed to induce an incredible amount of tension into a scene that would have been absolutely nerve-wracking on its own already. But now we know what we would have missed. We can't imagine Jackson not being one of those 8 that found their demise in that same scene. Kill Bill Volume 2 is a masterpiece and definitely deserves its Metascore of 83. And now we find on number 2, The Incredibles. If it wasn't clear before, let's cement it in there, once and for all. The Incredibles was a huge milestone in Jackson's career. The Incredibles was only Pixar's 6th feature film, and the movie that introduced the world to the titular protagonistic family of amazing superheroes. The Incredibles is set in a world where superpowers are very much illegal, and Mr. Incredible and his best friend Frozone, who is voiced by our lovely Jackson, have hacked into the police radio in search of some adventure. There are countless memes that originated from the original Incredibles movie, and its Metascore of 90 does seem very fitting. On number 1, we have, of course, Pulp Fiction. Come on, it had to be Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction may originally have been released in 1994, but it still is one of the most iconic movies ever made, and an absolute must-have-seen cult classic. It wasn't just that this Tarantino movie was yet another box office success, it shot Samuel L. Jackson's career to new heights. He saw himself sharing the screen with the likes of John Travolta, who portrays Vincent Vega, while Jackson himself played the role of his partner in crime, Jules Winfield, a Los Angeles hitman. Critics across platforms all but unanimously agree that Pulp Fiction is one of the best movies ever made, which is why it has an impressive Metascore of 94. And that's all there is to it. How do you feel about this list? Are there movies missing that you feel like should have been on there as well? Let us know in the comments what you think, and thanks for watching.